Scattered throughout the Torah are various references to the act of writing, of tablets and texts and scrolls and books, and one unusual occurrence of writing occurs in Behaalotecha, when the Torah describes two elders, Eldad and Medad, who are summoned by Moshe to the Ohel Moed along with 68 of their colleagues, but opt instead to remain behind the camp. And it describes them as follows: Vehema baktuvim v'lo yatzu ha'ohela v'yitnab'u b'machaneh. These two men, Eldad and Medad, stay back in the camp and are described as being baktuvim, literally among the written ones, which is presumably a reference to the other elders who were chosen by lot, upon which their names were written. A closer look at the story of Eldad and Medad, specifically as interpreted by Chazal and Gemara in the Sanhedrin, and in greater length in the Midrash and Bamidbar Rabbah, can provide some deeper insight into this idiosyncratic description, and by extension into the Torah's view on the value of the act of writing. Chazal point to four ways in which the quality of Eldad's and Medad's Ruach HaKodesh was superior to that of the others. I'd like to tell you what Chazal say, and then read between the lines, tell you what I hear them saying in a broader way. Number one, in contrast to the 68 elders who prophesied only about the following day, Eldad and Medad, say Chazal, prophesied about the conclusion of the 40 years in the desert. So I hear them saying that they exclusively had long-term vision. They alone prophesied for the future. Number two, the content of Eldad's and Medad's prophecy was that Moshe would die and Yehoshua would lead the people into the land of Israel. So I hear them saying that they alone had the willingness to put forth uncomfortable truths. They spoke unreservedly about Moshe's death. And number three, while the Ruach HaKodesh of the 68 elders was derived from Moshe, Eldad's and Medad's came directly from God. So they were original, they had authenticity, they weren't part of groupthink, they had independent thought. And number four, in contrast to the 68 elders who remain anonymous, the names of Eldad and Medad are known to us. So they are immortalized. Only their names, Eldad's and Medad's names, are recorded for posterity. So Eldad's and Medad's extraordinary qualities are long-term vision, the willingness to put forth uncomfortable truths, originality, and immortality. And I think these are also the qualities of serious writers who are always asking themselves, why should my readers care? They're constantly considering the relevance of their writing, and they're presenting their ideas with integrity and intellectual honesty. They're creative and innovative, and in some way they achieve immortality as who they are as human beings becomes preserved in the written word. So maybe that's what it means to be among the written, baktuvim. To be written down, chronicled, recorded, is essentially to be immortalized. So when the Torah tells us that Eldad and Medad were among the written, it's telling us that they had somehow made themselves worthy of being immortalized. They had achieved immortality. Now, the notion of the writer as bringing about her or his own immortality is fairly old. For example, an ancient Egyptian wisdom text that is actually called The Immortality of Writers, describes writing as providing a more certain immortality than even the finest tombs. And Shakespeare laments the fleeting nature of physical objects, but notes that the only possibility for immortalizing love, for example, is through the written word. And all of that was summed up very neatly, way beforehand, in a brief statement by Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel in the Yerushalmi and Shkalim, when he stated that we do not erect memorials to tzaddikim, to the righteous. Their words, divrayhem, are their memory. May we all strive to be baktuvim, among the written, not motivated by groupthink or by the establishment, but by personal desire to connect to Jewish texts and ideas and to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God himself, and forge our own path, become creators rather than mere derivers of Torah in the Shalshelet HaMesorah. Shabbat Shalom.